Everyone is like, oh, it's just a game. But Pip is like, no, the evidence is all here. The butler definitely did it. From page one, I was hooked. It's like watching a real life investigation in a book. It's filled with twists and turns, which will make your brain hurt, but in the best way possible. Like you, he's smelling like curry. Bleh. Detective, thank you for your time. The public is desperate for answers. We are here to discuss the case of Good Girl's Guide to Murder. No need for thanks, just doing my job. First, the subject of your investigation. A high school student named Pip Fitz Amobi? A good girl, as they say. Is that an accurate description? A good girl who broke every rule in the book. She claimed it was just a project, but I've seen this before. The thirst for answers, it pulls you in. She wasn't just investigating a murder, she was becoming obsessed with it. And the series that followed, what can you tell us about that? It's a tangled web full of secrets and lies. It starts with one missing girl, but before you know it, you are just too deep in it. Every clue, every twist, it all leads to the truth. A truth that can change a person. It's the most compelling case I've ever seen. But remember this, kid. Solving a murder is one thing, but living with it, it's a different kind of crime. Alright, detectives, grab your notebooks and put your best trench coats on. Because we are going to solve the case of the century. Is Holly Jackson Good Girl's Guide to Murder is as good as they say? The verdict is out and I'm ready to spill all the tea. We are also getting into the nitty-gritty of the prequel novella Killjoy. We are going to break down the suspects, the motives, and everything in between. Let's make this official. I'm going to rate each and every book as well. First on the docket, we have little-known secret agent of the series, Killjoy. This tiny novella is where it all started. Think of it as Pip's training session. She and her friends are playing a murder mystery. But Pip, being Pip, takes all of this little too seriously. Everyone is like, oh, it's just a game. But Pip is like, no, the evidence is all here. The butler definitely did it. But the gardener is also a sus. This book is a pure low-stakes fun. You get to see our favorite girl in our natural habitat, solving a puzzle without the threat of actual death. Yet. It's a great little appetizer for the main course, giving us a peep into what makes Pip tick. It's not an essential read, but if you are a super fan like me, it's a must-have for your collection. It's a fun, light-hearted read. Gets a solid 3.5 stars out of 5 for its charm and its character insights. Now, the main event, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The book that has launched a million fan theories, a million true crime podcasts. I actually don't know if it has actually launched anything. So, someone please fact check me. From page one, I was hooked. It's like watching a real life investigation in a book. Let's break it down for you. The pacing is like a roller coaster. 1 minute, you think who it is. Next minute, Holly Jackson is like, no, it's someone else. It's filled with twists and turns, which will make your brain hurt, but in the best way possible. And Pip, my girl, Pip, she's the kind of protagonist which you will just want to give a high five. She's smart, brave, and wait for it, she has the best partner in crime, Ravi. And I love it when international authors include Indian character, but not just for the sake of diversity, but with some actual value, who is not written stereotypically. Like you, he's smelling like curry, bleh. And Pip's and Ravi's banter is just chef's kiss. Their relationship is the perfect amount of wholeness which balances out all the murder. The mixed media format is a game changer. You're not just reading a story, you're reading police reports, transcripts, text messages. It makes you feel like an actual detective. Let me show you some transcripts. Like, look at this. It is an actual transcript with the police. My only teeny tiny concern is that you want to suspend your belief a little bit. Could an actual high schooler do all of this? Probably not. But is it actually very fun? Hell yeah! Moving on to Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is where things start to get real. Pip isn't just a podcaster anymore. She's dealing with the consequences of her actions from the first book. This book takes the tension and cracks it up to 11. The mystery is personal. You can feel Pip's fear and desperation. And now it's not just a game, it's a matter of life and death. We see Pip really change. She's dealing with the trauma from the first book, and it's powerful to see her struggle and her relationship with Ravi deepen. And it's nice to see the relationship and bond remain strong. My biggest issue is Pip's choices. She gets so reckless in this book. You'll be screaming at your book. What are you doing, Pip? While Pip's choices were so frustrating, but the book itself, the story itself was really good. I have to give it a solid 4.5 stars. A truly solid sequel, according to me. And now, coming to the last book, As Good as Dead. This is not for the faint of heart. The first two were YA mysteries. This is a full-blown psychological thriller. It goes to some very dark places. The tonal shift is massive. It's raw, it's gritty, it's brave. Holly Jackson wasn't afraid to show the real devastating toll of what Pip's been through. It's a shocking, compelling, and powerful read. But here's the thing. This book is not what everyone expected. The ending is a huge point of debate. It's not a neat, happy, tidy ending. It's messy, complicated, makes you think. I personally think it was a really great ending. I'll tell you why. It shows that sometimes in real life there is no easy answer. But I can totally see why some people were heartbroken about it. I mean, I read a book to get out of the real life. But the main character is also getting the consequences of her action like in real life. I don't want to hear that. But I understand and I really like the end because it somewhat ties to the real life. For me, this book was a masterpiece. It's a raw and honest conclusion. And it definitely gets a 5 out of 5, even if it's a hard read. Before wrapping this up, I need to talk about the Netflix adaptation of this book. The first season of Good Girls Guide to Murder is streaming at Netflix right now, starring Emma Myers as Pip and Zayn Iqbal as Ravi. The show brings the first book to life. My thoughts? I was a little nervous, to be honest. But the show is an absolute blast. It perfectly captures Pip's and Ravi's banter and the fast-paced nature of the mystery. The casting is spot on. Their chemistry, we can see through the screen. While there are a few minor changes from the book, but the core story remains the same. And it's a joy to watch. It's a great binge watch and a solid adaptation to its source material. And I really love the show. I feel it's a great watch. You should definitely go and watch. So, what's my final verdict on the entire series? A Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Is it worth it? 100%. It's a masterclass in its genre. It's not just a series. It takes you through a wild ride from a cozy mystery to a dark thriller. My ratings went from a solid 3.5 for the novella to a 5 for the first book, a 4.5 for the second, and another 5 for the final one. This series is a must read. Just be ready for that ending. Now it's your turn, detective. Have you read the book or watched the show? What did you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, happy reading. Bye.